give you binder checks every marking period.
Number 9, inspections in the cafeteria.
Stand up for yourself and be who you are. Don't be nervous and don't let a potential bully bring you down. Number 8, art classes with the best artists. Time management in middle school is a big thing because you're going to have a lot of stuff loaded onto you. But don't worry, because people say that's really overwhelming. It's not if you keep yourself in order.
Number 7, the song Wide Awake by Katy Perry playing between classes.
And remember, you only have 3 minutes to get to class. Number 6, band and orchestra when Mr. Ty comes to cook. If you are being bullied, tell him it don't.
Number 5, raising money for Uganda.
Have good relationships with your teachers, because if you go to them, you can go to them for anything. And I definitely know that because I have some teachers that I still keep close even when I'm in 7th grade or 6th grade. And they really help me through a lot of stuff, not even only school stuff. They help me through personal things because middle school is filled with some drama. Number 4, doing the ET project with Ms. Gina. Binder checks always count as a test grade, so be prepared.
Number 3, playing basketball against.
All right, we're gonna stop it. We shared that video because that's kind of a day in the life of what goes on at this particular middle school, and it's similar at Maplewood Middle. So we wanted to share that video with you. Right now, I would like for you to look in your folders, and there's an article in there about college and career readiness for middle school parents. Helping students develop skills they know they need to succeed. Because that's pretty much why we're here tonight. We did talk about some of the shifts from the Common Core and what the students will be expected to be able to accomplish as they go through. And what the Common Core does as students get up in the grades, the Common Core scaffolds up. So the standards don't necessarily change, but what the students are expected to do changes. So what I would like for you to do at your various tables is to take a few minutes to read the article, and then I have paper that I'm going to pass around, and I would like for each table to come up with 3 recommendations that you would like to include as we've developed a transition to middle school and a transition to high school handbook that will outline some of the things that we can include for helping our kids become college and career ready. Some of the categories that they include on here are communication and collaboration. As we know right now, our students are much more technical savvy than many of us are. They're digital natives. They're showing us how to do things technology-wise that we're not able to do. And everything that's happening in school, there's something new that's coming every day. Students are using Edmodo, they're using their laptops, they're using netbooks in school, they're exposed to smart boards and those things. So sometimes when they come home, they have things to do that you all might not be able to help them with. And that is a skill that they're going to have from now until the time that they matriculate to college. But one of the things that we need to talk about in terms of collaboration and communication is communication between home and school. I know many of you have been hearing at the board meetings that there's some difficulty with communication across several fronts. So if you could, when you start to write your ideas down, if communication is one of the things that we need to include when we start working on our transition workbooks, please write that down. Creative thinking. A lot of what students are going to be asked to do now requires them to tell us how they think, to tell us what they have to, their thoughts and their ideas. That is much of what they have to do now. It's not a lot of regurgitation of facts anymore. When students have to write, they have to write analytically and talk about the things that they need to express and what they're thinking about. So students aren't just regurgitating facts when they write anymore, and it's starting at the elementary level. Critical thinking and problem solving. Students are doing much more critical thinking and problem solving, even in, not just in math and science, but problem solving in world problems and social studies and English are all happening with your students right now. And again, it's starting to happen much earlier than it did before. A lot of times we only start talking about problem solving in the upper grades, but now we're looking at it 5th grade all the way up through middle school. Now, some of the skills that they also talk about when we talk about transitioning to middle school are those soft skills. Those things like organizational skills. Those things like keeping your notebook neat. Those things like keeping your all of your assignments together, and those things of going from class to class and being able to make sure that you remember what your assignments are. Those are important skills too, and it's very difficult sometimes when our 5th graders transition to 6th grade to be able to accomplish those skills in a very quick amount of time. So those are some of the things that they also are being expected to do when they move to middle school. Evaluation and argument. These are some of the higher level cognitive skills that students have to have. They have to be able to look at a piece of documentation, evaluate the document, and then provide an argument for the document. So these are some of the things that your students are going to be required to do. Again, it's no longer just, I read the story and I'm going to answer 10 questions. They have to be able to evaluate what they're reading and be able to provide a significant argument for what they're being presented with. So at this time, if you could work with... Sure.
I'm a little confused about what our goal is for what we're doing. You know, the data that you put up is very striking.
Yes.
I think, I'm sure, I don't know how everybody else felt, but I certainly felt that way. And I mean, I'm sure that a lot more is going to happen than giving parents a handbook.
Oh yes, a lot more is going to happen than that.
My question is, I mean, I'm totally great with giving suggestions for what should go in the handbook. However, I hope that can we also, I mean, I think a lot of people here probably have ideas about how structurally things need to change, not just like advice for parents that will go in the handbook, because that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
So may we have that? You know, I would like to have that.
Absolutely. So in addition to that, and what we did in the last forum is we did just that. We did talk about some things going forward other than just working on the handbook, but we also can talk about some suggestions for just what you just expressed as well. So, but I would like for you to work together as groups to do that. And if you want to work on and provide suggestions for the data that you saw or anything that was alarming or striking to you, then certainly add that on, because we're collecting all this data too. This is all part of what's going into what we're doing in terms of our work. Because as parents, you all are stakeholders in this whole project as well. You have a puzzled look on your face, ma'am.
I'm frankly confused as to what the point of this meeting is.
Okay.
I thought that it was kind of billed as a roadmap for getting through middle school to go into high school. So I kind of expected that I was going to be told, this is what's going to kind of happen, this is how it's going to be. And I'm now sitting here being bombarded with a lot of data that, quite frankly, doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
Because my kids, I can see my kids all across all of that.
Okay.
And now I'm also kind of feeling one, I'm supposed to be transitioning with my kids.
Okay.
My 5th grader coming into 6th grade. So I'm a little confused just the point of this meeting.
Well, the point was twofold, and unfortunately when we had the first meeting we did a lot of transitions.
This was really not, this is a series of meetings, and we're just like getting to one in a whole series.
Yes, and this was the second one. The first one we really talked about transitioning to high school and some of the things that went around that. We did have middle school parents there as well, and we talked a little bit about both. So when we talk about transitioning to, and I can talk about transitioning to high school as well, but we did cover some of that the last time. But when we talk about transitioning to high school, some of the same issues are transitioning as well to high school is what we see when we transition to middle school. Unfortunately, I don't have any materials for the high school part tonight. But what is important to remember for transitioning to high school is that everything is credit bearing, and students that want to go into the higher level courses, they need to start preparation for that, of course, at the middle school level.
So then does that mean that kids who are in the advanced math classes in 7th grade going into 8th, and then they take the geometry in 8th grade at the high school?
Yes.
Does that mean that count as part of their high school career?
Yes. One of the classes is a credit bearing class. Yes, it is. So, if we talk, can we do one part first and then we'll come back and also talk about some high school things? Yes, sir.
Sorry, my question kind of relates to the two previous ones. This is a process. That's great. I guess it's a series of communication that's going on between the parents and
yes.
So that was not effectively communicated out on this. We're kind of here as well from the transition from middle school to high school.
Okay.
We should be working with, and we have.
We're just going to, I'm telling her to repeat the question because I know that people in the back can't hear because of the back. Sorry.
He's saying that there's confusion because they came here thinking that it was going to be a roadmap for success to high school, transitioning from high school. And that's what the flyer says. You're absolutely right. And I can only apologize for that miscommunication because, again, when we had the first one, we did cover that, and this one was going to be talking mostly about middle school to high school. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So was that communicated and I just misread it?
No.
Was there an email that I received this morning that didn't communicate that either?
That didn't communicate.
The new updated.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't new updated. That was what it was supposed to be.
The email this morning included this flyer.
Yes, I know that the email this morning was the same thing that had been sent out previously.
Okay.
So it wasn't a change.
You have updated the agenda for tonight.
Yes. So again, I apologize for that miscommunication, but if right now we can take some time to come up with some, whatever your ideas are, regardless to whether it's about the data, whether it's about transitioning to middle school or transitioning to high school, if you can compile those ideas now, I would appreciate it. And again, I apologize for the miscommunication. I apologize, and as we go forward, we will make sure that it is clearer.
I don't want to delay everybody, but one of the questions I do have is that if you are going to be presenting data to us,
Yes.
like you had started, is it would be good if they were aligned to where our reference point is, which are the classes that our students are in. If you take this in, we're assuming it's actionable or there's something we're supposed to be doing with the data.
Okay. So what you're saying is in terms of transitioning to the high school data.
I think he means like the levels, like it should be translated into what we know, like those 3 math levels that we actually know, because otherwise it's hard to make meaning out of it.
The reason that I presented all of it is because that's what the data speaks to now. So unfortunately, some of the data is what you know, but it's also the data that's being presented that is current in the district. So the data that's current in the district has those different levels. What's being communicated in the materials is somewhat different. So it's only the data that I've been given that I presented to you.
We know honors geometry, we know algebra, we know those names. We don't know level anything.
Right. For the 8th grade, for the middle school, it's just math and English, and then those kids that take advanced classes take the advanced geometry and advanced algebra.
Math has college prep,